Okay, we are live. Hi, welcome to Xara Training. So today's our first full training that we're going to have on Xara. Xara is a design platform that we are powering all of our designs here at LAER. We were using Canva before. Xara is a little more special because we're able to grab information from the MLS and use it on our designs. I'll show you in a little bit how that works. If you guys have any questions, you can use the chat, you can use the Q&A function. I will have a little bit of some time at the end for answering some questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions. I'll also show you where you can look for support. Xara has a great support team, and I want you to use their support, but you can also reach us through our Happy Agent email. This is a live class, but we will also have a replay uploaded on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/LAER Training, you hit subscribe, you'll receive a notification when this training is uploaded. I'll most likely upload it later today. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to cover, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover how to sign in, how to edit your profile, how to connect to social media, the new LAER marketing bundle, how to run playbooks using templates, sharing and posting your designs, how to reach out for support, and again, we'll have a Q&A at the end. All right, so let's start off with some training on how to sign in. I'm gonna get rid of my video so you guys can see my full screen. There we go. So signing in is very easy. I know we sent out that email earlier for our existing agents, but you actually don't need that email to sign in. I mean, that particular email, it doesn't really have a code or a special link that signs you in. All you need is the email that we have on record for you at LAER. You can get login instructions if you go to our LAER GPS website, so laergps.com. Just do a quick search for Xara. This is also a great resource for almost any question you might have. We've written it out here, if you're trying to install a printer, etc. But I just did a search for Xara, and then we have this one article that says how to sign into Xara. If you're an existing agent, it's very easy. You just go to Xara.com. So Xara.com. You click on this login button, and you want to select Xara Cloud. I'm calling it Xara. Some people say Xara. It's up to you. It is with an X. The Xara with the Z is where you get clothing. All right, so you go again to Xara.cloud. It's going to bring you to this page. I'm already signed in, but let me show you what it looks like. You'll see this sign in section. If you're an existing agent, click on already have an account, click on sign in, right? We're going to put in the email address that we have on record for you at LAER. Whenever we send out an email to you, the email that we use is what you will use to sign into this. If you are not sure what that email address is, you can actually do a search for yourself on Google, and it will show up on our LAER webpage, right? If not, if you still does this not pull land listings? It should, Brian. It should, but we can cover that. And again, questions like that we can kind of go over at the end of this during the Q&A. It should pull everything from the MLS. But anyway, let's keep going with the sign-in process. So you put in the email, right? You click next. If it's the first time you're signing in, it's going to ask you to set a password, right? It's going to send you a password email to reset your password. So once you receive that email, you are then going to sign in again, and then you'll be logged in, and then you will go to the next step, which is your personal marketing information. If you are a new agent, you will receive an email invite from us during the onboarding process. It's very easy. You get this email, you click on go to Xara Cloud, You click next, it's going to ask you for the email again. It's kind of the same process. You put in the email, and then it's going to ask you to create a password, and then you put in your profile information. So I am going to sign in. Now, when you sign in, you have the option of signing in with any of these services. If you have an email with us at LAER, you should be able to sign in with Google. In fact, this is what I did with my account. It just makes it easy for me. I don't have to remember a password. I just click on sign in with Google. However, you can just use your regular email just fine. So once you are signed in this case, I'm signing in with Google. We can refresh here. Once I'm signed in, the first thing you want to do is fill out your personal information, right? So this is sort of the main dashboard. What we're going to do is edit our profile. So up here, we have LAER Realty Partners. This is a drop-down menu. We click on this, click on Edit Profile. For most of you, we already have your name, your email address, and a photo. If you want to update that photo, you can do this by clicking on the Edit button. Upload a photo. You can upload one from your computer, just like this. It's going to be cropped to a square, so you can adjust it and then save. Your MLS IDs will be populated, but if we are missing one of your MLS IDs, it's very easy. Just click the plus and then you add in your agent MLS ID. You can add the rest of this information, your websites, Instagram, Facebook pages, etc. Once you're done, you click on Save. This will then save, and you will be able to reference this data or this information in any of your designs. So let's keep going. The next thing I'm going to cover is connecting your social media, right? So we edited our profile, and now we want to connect our social media because we will create, as part of your packages, we'll create social media posts. You are able to post directly to your pages from Xara. To do this, you do need to connect your social media accounts. In this case, we're going to, again, click on LAER Realty Partners, go down to Social Media Manager, click this, and then it's going to ask you to connect an account, right? Just to keep in mind, for Facebook and LinkedIn, it is better to connect to a Facebook page, like a business page. You're not really connecting to your personal account. So for example, when I click on edit, it gives me, I manage a bunch of pages, so it's going to give me all these options, but I will choose the one that works for me. Same with LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, you do have the option to choosing your personal account, but because I do manage other accounts, I can choose any of these. Same with Instagram, you just click on Connect Accounts. It's going to ask you to sign in with your Facebook. And then it will ask you to choose the page that you want to post as. Again, you want to choose the one that you are actually managing. It also helps if you have a Facebook business page, right? You can set this up by going to business.facebook.com. It'll just make things a lot easier, and you'll be able to post directly to social media. All right, so next, I'm going to go over sort of our updated marketing bundle, right? So before we were sending these to you as emails, you're still getting them as emails, but everything is being created in Xara. These are created and delivered automatically. It's not going to be as soon as you hit live on the MLS. Just like all syndication, things like Zillow, anything like that, the server is updating at certain intervals, right? So you might not get it right away. It might take a couple of hours, but But if you don't see it within like 24 hours, let us know. We can make sure that everything is working. But normally it takes a few minutes to maybe an hour or two, depending on when the servers are being updated. The great part about this is that if you make any updates to your listing, some agents like to get their listing up quickly. They'll just have one photo. Our software will automatically generate a brochure or a marketing bundle for them, just with that one photo. But later on, maybe the agent will upload the rest of the images. Those images and all that information will be updated automatically. I'll show you how to do that, how to run a playbook manually. So again, this includes flyers, social media posts, as well as some mailers. We include just a ton of material to market your listing. And then this is also dependent on the status of your listing. So when your home is live on the MLS, when it's active, you'll receive an email. When it goes under agreement, you'll receive another email. And then when it's sold, you'll receive an email. Now, it doesn't send you an automatic bundle when you have an open house, just because it doesn't really pull that information. But we can, again, run one of these playbooks manually, and you can put in your open house information. And it's very easy. It grabs the information from the MLS. It's very minimal effort. So the email itself looks, let me find the right tab, looks just like this. And here's your marketing materials for this listing. All you have to do is click review and publish. And it will pull it right up. So because this is generated automatically, it is faster than generating a manual playbook, but the playbook itself doesn't take that much time. So like I mentioned, we have some print material, we have just listed flyer, we have a postcard, and then we have some social media pieces. What if you review and publish, but it doesn't go to your account? So for some of these, we are still kind of working out the kinks of the MLS. If you are in a team, right, and you're posting as a team on the MLS, it will actually be sent to the team email. For individual teams, for example, the Rose Homes team, we have also created Xara accounts for the team. I'm not a team. Okay. Well, you can reach out to us, and then I'll also cover how to reach out to support as well. You can always reach out to Happy Agent, but they actually have some pretty good support staff. They have a chat that you can use. All right, so let's keep moving on. I don't want to spend too much time. So the next thing is, okay, so we have our playbook, right, and we want to use this. We can click on any of these and hit edit, right? Most of these are ready to go, but because this grabs images from the MLS automatically, it grabs it in the order that you posted them, right? So for example, the first images might be a bunch of exterior pictures, right? But you want to also include some interior images. It's very easy to do this. So because this is generated from that MLS number, it'll actually bring in all of the images from your listing. So to edit this, it's very much like Canva, where you can just grab an image and drag and drop. So for example, I want to include this image of our kitchen, this image here with our fireplace, and I don't know, maybe one of the garage, right? You can edit any of this text, right? You can add your photo. This particular design doesn't have a photo, but you can add one very easily. because it pulls in the information from the MLS, not just the images, but the photos and info. So down here, there's a little real estate button, right? It'll pull in, like I mentioned, the listing photos, but also listing information, right? And not just here, if you click on all, it actually brings in pretty much everything it can from the MLS. And if you go back, if you click on agent, it'll actually pull in the agent from the MLS, right? You can click on this and grab the photo. Let's say you do want your image here, and as we roll along, we have access and we're able to edit any of these templates. So we'll have more templates that have images. Johnny Fallon, yes, it's being recorded. I will be uploading this later this afternoon. And again, if you go to youtube.com/layer training, you'll receive a notification once that has been uploaded. All right, so we added our photo here, we're ready to go. We can click on share. Now you can publish directly to social media, like I mentioned before. You can click on publish on social media. You choose one of these, say InDesign, not InDesign, LinkedIn. You choose your profile. Right, it's gonna give you a section where you can add your caption, right? And I believe this now has been updated with AI. So it's gonna prepare a caption for you. This is a new feature, so I'm not sure how long it takes. So let it do its thing. Once it's ready, you'll be able to edit the caption, add or remove things. There it is, here's your caption. It brings in your contact information, adds hashtags. This generates from the listing description, right? So this is basically ready to go. Obviously, because it's AI, you want to go in, make sure that everything makes sense. There's nothing that is inaccurate. And then when you're ready, you just click on post. I'm not going to post this because it'll post directly on my LinkedIn. But that's how easy it is to do. Now, if you want to send this out to someone or you're not going to post on social media, you are able to save this or download this to your computer. If we click on download, we can choose the format. In this case, we want either PNG or JPEG. We'll choose PNG this time. You can choose the quality, how big you want it, etc., and then download. This will then download as an image on your computer, and then you can post wherever you want. For our print media, we can scroll down. So let's go back to where we were. Now, when you generate one of these playbooks, the listing will actually show up under this My Listings section. So anytime you run a playbook, it'll show up here. You don't have to go back to this email, right? This is just a link, right? That when you click, it brings you back to the playbook that already exists under My Listings, right? This is for 34 Foxgrove. If we scroll down, we have some flyers. We have this, I believe this is a 2-page flyer. We can, again, click on edit. And once it renders everything out, sometimes it'll ask you to optimize the images. This can happen if the images are too high resolution. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. I usually choose don't optimize, but it's really up to you. Again, this is the same situation where you want to, rearrange some of these images, or even, when you upload on the MLS, you could have that order in mind, right? So the first images on the MLS, when you upload them, you can make sure that when they're automatically generated here, they'll go into that same arrangement. This is a 2-page brochure. Again, it grabs all of the information from the MLS. Sometimes, and I got to ask the Xara team about this, sometimes it won't grab certain fields, but you can always go in to our real estate section and go to our listing info and grab the accurate field. Or you can just type it in anywhere. This is very much like Canva, where, these are not locked down, right? If you find that this address is a little too small, you can always increase the font size. You can move things around. It really is up to you. And then when you're ready to use, we can hit this print button. If you have an ExpressDocs account, you're able to send it over to ExpressDocs and print, but you can always print at home, which will download a PDF. Now, when you're printing, sometimes it'll say there's spelling mistakes, right? So this is based on your description. Obviously, you want to go in and check that there's no spelling mistakes, but if the mistakes are not actual mistakes, right? So if it's a name, etc., you can just leave it as is. You can click ignore and continue. We're going to click that, and it's going to download then a PDF onto our computer. Here's our PDF, and then I can then print this. I can send this out to print at Staples, or I can print it out at any of our offices or my home printer. So that's the printing part of these playbooks. I'm only really going over this one just listed playbook, right? So the same thing exists for just sold. We have an open house one, price change, and under contract. Now, like I mentioned earlier, these are run automatically, right? I believe also the coming soon is run automatically, but I'll check with the team on that. The just listed definitely is, the just sold is, price improvements and under contract are all run automatically. But the open house one is not. So when you do the open house playbook, you're able to run one. We'll go back to playbooks and click on generate, right? It's going to ask you for an MLS. I'm just going to grab a random MLS ID here. So we have this nice home in Athol. We can specify the open house date and time, right? So let's say it's going to be this Sunday, this time. Click next. It's going to ask you for the agent. Most of the time, it's going to be you. Now, this is important. At the moment, it will grab either the information from the MLS or the information that we have on hand in Xara. Now, if you went in and fill out your profile and updated your picture in Xara, you want to choose the one that has the email address, right? For example, we have this updated one for Olivia. The other one will work as well, but that has information from the MLS. So we're switching over, so it just does Xara for now. But right now, just make sure that you're choosing that. So if you don't see anything pop up, right, you can just do that. If you are an agent and you're covering for an open house, you can actually change the information here. Let's see if it does this for me. I don't know if Len goes by Len. Yeah, here we go. You can switch over to your information instead of the listing agent and use that. Now, sometimes it'll show that it has no photo. That's because it's getting it from the MLS. But when you actually do it, it will show up. So let's try that again. I did that by going to generate, put in this MLS number, choose the date and time. I'm going to choose this agent and then hit generate. Now, when you generate a playbook, it does take some time, right? So you want to generate it, maybe get up and get a coffee. It will take a little bit of time to generate completely, just because it's making all these documents, grabbing information from the MLS, it's downloading the photos. So it does take a little bit of time for it to generate. So while that is generating, do you guys have any questions so far? I'm gonna open up the chat here. Where's the Q&A? Here's a Q&A. If you want door knockers, how do we get? Okay, I'm assuming you mean like some templates for door knockers. I'm going to go over that next. I'm going to go over some other templates that we have available. It's not just listing stuff, right? We're updating all of the templates that we had available in Canva. We're bringing over to Xara. So if the price changes, that will be updated on all playbooks. Yes. So if there is a price change, you'll receive an email that will then, show the new price. Again, that is also based on when the MLS and when the system updates. If you know you're going to do a quick price change, you can just do it yourself and generate it. It's faster, right? But it's very easy to do. Can we still use Canva? Of course. We actually still design a lot of things in Canva and then bring them over to Xara. Canva is a really great tool. This just happens to be a little better for things like listing information. It has all that stuff there as well. The 4-page brochure I'm going to cover in a little bit. Brooke is asking, can you on more than one platform? Can you post on more than one platform? Business and personal, I was thinking. I believe so. I think you just have to choose the right platform. You can also post on your business platform and then share it on your personal, right? I tend to that works a little better because then you can guide people over to your business platform. I'm logged into Xara account and a land listing I have is not showing. Okay. Can you email into Happy Agents with the MLS of that land listing, and I can check with our Xara staff and see what's going on. You're welcome. All right, great questions. And just like that, our documents have been generated. So we can click on Go to Documents. And here we have our open house stuff. It brings in the date and time for our open house, right? This also generates a sign-in sheet, right, that you can print out. And another sign-in sheet that's a little more detailed. A flyer for your open house. And of course, some social media pieces. Now, we can always update these playbooks. We like getting feedback. So if you do have any feedback about any of these, let us know. We can update some of these designs. Okay, so we can kind of move on to our templates. We can answer the door knocker question and the 4-page brochure question. So everything you saw here is under this playbooks section, right? Either they're generated automatically or you can generate one yourself. But we also have templates. We go to this template section, and we are working on organizing these a little better. There's a little icon on the top right here where you can kind of see a preview of what they look like or what some of these documents look like, or you can bring down a list. If you're familiar with our agent branding package, click here. We actually updated most of these. I believe there's one we're still missing that we're going to upload. And these are very easy to generate. You just click on one of these. It's going to create the document for you. And again, it brings in your information. I'm not going to do all of that, but they're all available under these template section. So anything that's under templates, it's part of our layer branded stuff, right? The playbooks also exist here if you want to just generate one single item from a playbook, right? So if you want to do a just sold piece, you don't want to do the whole thing. You just know that you like the postcard, right? You can click on the postcard and then generate just the postcard. It's a little different, you know. It doesn't ask you for the MLS right away, but you can still specify the MLS and you can still grab the information. Actually, it does ask you for the MLS right away, so that's even better. You can click next. However, if you accidentally close this, right, this is still just the default information. Oh, there's me. You can click on this real estate button and then bring in the MLS, right, whatever number. Click apply, and it'll bring in the photos. I believe it already did it for this, right? And then for agents, same deal. You can click apply, and it'll bring in any information it has from the MLS. All right. Now, there was a question about the 4-page brochures. So those are located under templates. Now, we don't generate these automatically for all of our listings, but they're very easy to generate. It's this bottom one here. You can go through all of these, click on them. We have the layer information brochure. I'm working on getting a better organizational system for this, so bear with me. But here is our 4-page. We actually just uploaded this template recently, and it's been working great. So we clicked on the 4-page. It's gonna do its thing. And it's gonna ask you for MLS. Let's grab that same MLS. And then we're gonna choose Olivia and click next. Give it a minute to update the photos. And there we go. So this tray here, you can actually close if you want to give yourself some more screen space here, some more screen real estate. But there's our 4-page brochure. It's basically ready to go. Obviously, you want to go in and change some of the images around. Again, if you go to this real estate part, under listing photos, click on all. You can then pick and choose. Maybe you want to feature this image here. You just drag and drop. This also has an undo button up here, just like Canva. You can do undo. A lot of the editing features that Canva has, this also has, right? This text is a little small for this area, so you can very easily just select the text, right? And then bump up the font, just like that. You can change any of this text, you can rearrange the photos, you can do anything you want. And then when you're ready, you can hit print, print at home. You might get some of these errors. Usually I ignore them. If it's actually bad, you can email us in to Happy Agent, we can help you out. And, obviously you want to make sure that the images make sense, right? You don't want a giant photo of the bathroom. You want to make sure it flows. And it's going to process, and then it's going to download. And there's our 4-page brochure. This used to take us like 20 minutes to create because we would go to the MLS, download all the images, put in the agent information. This took me less than 2 minutes to create. Okay, some questions. Lisa, has the layer brochure information been updated since it was originally created? No, we have the old brochure there. We are planning on updating it with new information. The great part about this is that we're updating this pretty much weekly. We're getting more and more new templates. A lot of the stuff that we had in Canva we're porting over, and then we're also creating some new templates that you guys can use. All right, so let's go back. And whenever you work, for example, on that 4-page brochure, you do want to name it. I make this mistake of leaving it unnamed. I'm going to go back to this design up here. You can click on this and rename it. You want to do like the address 206 Vale, right? Just so you can reference it later. If you go back under your recently opened designs, you can see them here. Or if we go to our My Documents section, right? So you're not going to Documents, right? You're going to My Documents. That's where anything that you have generated will appear here. If you worked on some of these, you were messing around with them, and you're not going to use them, you can always delete them. Just click on the 3 dots and click Delete, and it will delete the design, just to tidy things up, keep things clean. So all of that was under this templates section, but we also have templates that are provided by Xara. So let's scroll down to our Xara templates. Now, I'm not sure if it has, oh, here we go, door hangers. So these are designs that are provided by Xara. One question from Brian, will the Playbooks post all of the documents that are created in Facebook? No, so you're posting each design, right? So it's not gonna post, for our documents, for example, it's not gonna post all of these social media pieces, right? It's just gonna post the one that you want to. You can even post directly from here if you hit post, right? So if you don't have any changes to your design, you hit post, and then you choose the thing that you want to post to. So it's not going to post all of these. You want to post these individually. Thanks for your question. Back to our door hanger. These are designs that are provided by Xara. They have so many designs covering all types of things, postcards, even business cards. To use these, you just click on open, right? It's gonna apply the brand. So even though the design that you saw had different colors, the preview image had different colors, it's gonna actually, in this case, this one actually pulls in the home, right? So you can put in your MLS. In this case, it will switch over the branding to layer, right? So it'll bring in the logo, it'll change the colors, and there we have our door hanger. You can switch out the photos just like before under this real estate section. And then also, so this is a new feature that we're working on, and thanks to the Rose Homes team, because we can change the branding. For our agents down in Florida, right, you're more than welcome to use our standard layer logo. But up here, you'll see this brand button. If you click on brand, we can switch over to our LAER Realty Bowen branding. This mainly just changes the logo, but for some other branding, you'll see some color changes. And then for our teams, we started this with Rose Homes, but we can expand this out to other teams. If you're in one of those teams, send in your high resolution logo and the colors that you normally use, and we can create one of these brand templates. For Rose Homes, for example, we created this one where you can bring in their logo. They use a little bit of different fonts and some different colors. So just like that, we're able to change the branding to any of these. So you're not stuck with this layer one. All right. Play around with these, right? I mentioned that was the door knockers, but we also have different flyers. Some of them are pretty cool. And just click on open. It's going to ask for the MLS number. Not all of them ask for MLS numbers. You're not going to always be marketing a home or a listing. And let's let this generate. Here we go. Next. In this case, I'm just going to choose my information, right? We've done Olivia a bunch. Here's my info. Now for your photo, see how this is arranged a little differently? You can always change this, right? So you can always kind of expand it or change the zoom. You just click on this and drag, right? And you can always replace this. You can click on replace. You can choose whatever you have on the MLS, on your computer, and then any of the assets. I did not mention assets. So in all the designs, in this section here, we have this folder called Team Assets. You'll find even more logos here, right? So we have this logos folder. If you're doing a Layer Lux listing, this might also be a branding thing that we do, but for now, you can choose this Layer Lux logos that we have available. We also have our different state logos. We need to update these, but Layer Connecticut, New Hampshire, etc. We have our MLS/Realtor logos if you want to use these on some of your designs. And then our team logos, which we went out and tried to get as many of the team logos that we have. If you don't see your logo here, let us know. We can upload it for you. So that's under this assets section. And then different versions of the layer logo. So ones that are black, some are whites, different colors, etc. Okay, where are we? Questions. Can you go over a social media again? Okay. Right, so before anything, what you want to do is connect your social media accounts. So you do this by clicking on LAER Realty Partners and then Social Media Manager. It's going to ask you to connect your accounts. For Facebook and Instagram, you want to make sure you have a business page. It's recommended. You just click on connect. It's going to ask you to connect to the accounts. Same with LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, you do have the option of connecting your personal accounts. When you are in a design, you're able to post very easily. So let's go back to one of our listings here. You can do it from within the design, right? Or you can just click on this post right here. There we go. Can you add your personal Facebook as well? Or would you I always suggest doing the business page. I find that a lot of content schedule software too ends up being recommending or only using the business page, and then you can share it to your personal accounts. But I will discuss it with our team, with the Xara team, to see what they recommend. Which kind of leads us to our next section. Which is kind of interesting because I don't see it. Okay. So for support, Xara has a really great support team. There's this little help button, right? They have tons of tutorial videos and stuff like that. I don't think they have it enabled right now, but when it is, let me ask them what happened. But usually there's like a little icon here. It also might be my like ad blockers, but usually there is an icon here that has a chat where you can actually chat with someone live or semi-live, and they can help you out. You can also email our Happy Agent team, so happyagent@laerrealty.com. We can make sure that everything is working. Again, if you have an issue kind of like Brian, where you don't see certain things pulling through, we are working with various MLSs and putting them all together in one pot. And, there's going to be discrepancies. There's going to be some things we need to fix. We're working with Xara on this tool, kind of together, building things out. So this is all flexible. There is an actual staff at Xara that you can talk to. It's the opposite of Canva, where it's impossible to get anyone at Canva to provide support. This is a smaller company. They like working with our staff. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and use the chat. Like any question you might have, go ahead. I'll give you some time. If not, we can end our stream. Any questions? There's no stupid questions. And you can ask a question by clicking on the chat. Is there stock photos if you want to do flyers? Okay, so that is one drawback of Xara, is it doesn't have as much access to stock images. The Canva has done deals with like certain stock photography companies where they offer just a bunch of stock images, where they offer a license to stock images. One interesting thing about Canva is that if you don't have an active Canva account that and you use a premium image, your license it's dependent on you having an active subscription with them, right? Anyway, yeah, so they do have some images. If you click on replace, they have some free stock photos, right? You can use any of these. They're free, they're royalty free, they're powered by Pixabay, and you can use any of these. And just like that, just drag and drop, right? So you're free to use those. Obviously, it's not going to be as extensive as Canva, but how many pictures of clouds do you really need? You can also, go out and get a Shutterstock account. Our team internally uses Shutterstock a lot. What you don't want to do is download a picture from Google and upload it, right? So, but you do have that option. Again, you can hit replace, and then it's that free stock photos. All right, so I have a question from Carolyn. Where is our support? Okay, so like I mentioned, there's usually a little chat button. I'll check with them to see if it's enabled, but there's a chat button that you can use where you can just send them a message directly. You can click on help. In this help section, they have a bunch of documents. Oh, here it is. So if you click on help, here's a little chat button, right? And it'll show who's kind of active at the moment, and you can just type in your question, right? And they'll get back to you. It's live human beings, it's not AI. And a lot of the help, you can just do a search here. It's a lot like our Layer GPS. So for example, you had a question about stock photos, right? If you just do a search for stock photos, you can click here. It'll show you information about the stock photo picker. It has a little video on how to use it, and etc. Right? So you do this by, when you're in Xara, you click on the little question mark and click on help. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, Matt is great. He knows us. He gave training before. He knows how to help us out. We have tutorial videos too. If you found that this was not deep enough into what we're doing, you can check out all of these tutorial videos on YouTube. Some of them are kind of old, so make sure that you watch sort of the latest ones. Again, their software is always changing as well. But if you have any questions, if you don't find your answer, happyagent@laerrealty.com. I can figure things out and get back to you. All right. Any other questions? It's lunchtime. Anyone? Okay, good. All right, so thanks for joining me. Catch the replay of this later, youtube.com/layer-training, and go spend some time in Xara. If you don't know how to sign in, let us know. If you don't know the email, if you can't get in, any issues, you need relationship support, I don't know. Let me know. We'll get back to you. happyagent@laerrealty.com. Goodbye.